So thank you everyone for joining in today for today's webinar. And the motto for today's webinar is 5 best IT interview preparation tips. So I should not be wasting time in telling you, that interviews are a crucial steps in the hiring process. It allows employers to access a candidate is fit for a role or an organization. And that is why the today's tips and that we'll be sharing you for the interview preparation is gonna pave a great role to get you the IT job that you've been aiming for. So, without any further ado, let's start the webinar. And we all know today's esteemed speaker, Mr. Naman Jain. He's our mentor and he's the speaker of the day. So, Mr. Naman, we can proceed with the webinar.
Oh, definitely. See, one thing what I want from everyone here, even Zoe, like I think the most important thing to run any webinar like this is the student participation. What do you think, Zoe?
Definitely, definitely. See, it's the student that makes us enthusiastic about the webinar. So let us all go ahead and cheer for the webinar today. Okay, everyone?
Yes. So you guys can just let's quick we can do a quick check, Zoe. We can just check
Yes,
like from which location people have been joining us. I think that's where we can see if people are
yes,
interacting or not. Uh,
definitely. So please go in and tell us from where are you joining us today?
Oh yeah, just let us know. Are you in Toronto, Texas,
Texas, yes.
New York, Dallas? Okay, Maryland, amazing. Los Angeles. Okay, there's someone from Los Angeles, from Nigeria.
Yes, we have
So,
people from Nigeria as well. Hello.
okay, Halifax, amazing. Uh, Thank you so much, everyone, for joining from different part of the world. We are meeting on this platform. I
We
really,
have
really.
people, I'm so sorry. We have people from London as well. I could see London as well. So
Oh
good
yeah,
morning, London.
Nelly is from London. I was just talking to Nelly right before joining this session. Yeah. Okay. So let's get started with the agenda. Over to you, Zoe. Let's focus through the agenda. Let's see what we have in the bucket today. Zoe, either. One moment, guys. Zoe, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Everyone would be a guest session.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for just
Yes.
5 seconds.
So today's agenda,
Zoe, are you still here?
yes, I'm still here.
Okay, okay, you can continue, please.
Yes. So today's agenda would be a guessing session and followed by a quiz section. And then we'll share a little bit about our success path. We have the certification introduction, then we have the IT interview tips, and then we, as usual, ending it with the question and answer section. So this is the today's agenda.
Okay, I think it is very important to do a warm up with everyone, and that's why we have planned this, workout, like the brain workout. So
Mhm.
let's get started with this. Okay, are you ready, everyone? Are you ready to participate and guess?
Definitely. We'll be, I request everyone to, participate and just share your answers in the chat box.
Amazing. Okay, so yeah, so basically, you guys have to guess a tool. Okay, so we will be talking about multiple tools, and you guys have to guess the right tool. Okay, over to you. You can just run this through.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. So, the question for today's session is starting from I use a declarative language to provision, configure, and manage infrastructure, but I'm not a traditional scripting language. I allow infrastructure as code and interrogate with cloud providers. What tool am I? So, please write your answers, everyone.
Okay, I think this is something for students like who are learning DevOps. So
Mm-hmm.
I think DevOps people can easily answer this. We are talking about declarative language, provisioning, configuration, infrastructure. These are some of the right keywords what are listed over here.
Yes, and we have answers as well over here.
Okay. Okay, the right answer is Terraform, Zoe.
Very nice. So, a lot of people got the answer correct.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Okay, moving over to the next one.
Thank you. So the question is, I track tasks, bugs, and user stories in an agile environment, and I am known for my customizable workflow. My boards help teams stay aligned, but I am not a simple to-do list. Which tool am I? Everyone, please share your answers.
I think this is one of the most popular tool, to track your team's, progress. And we use this tool heavily even at Thinkcloudly to run our
Yes.
daily operations. But I have seen that since like for almost like 6, 7 years now, we have been seeing such tool being used a lot to track team efforts, bugs, user stories. But I think the management people over here can easily answer it. So which tool are we talking about, everyone? Any more guesses? I think
Any
Zoe,
more?
Zoe, I think not everyone is actually guessing. Uh,
Yes. Yes,
so
I can see that. People are waiting for us to just grip in the answer.
okay, so the right answer is Jira, and that's the right answer,
Yes.
certainly. Okay, so I hope everyone knows Jira. So all my management friends, please make sure that you are getting across this tool because this is actually has become a lifeline for every project in today's world. So Jira, if you know Jira, if you're well versed with Jira, not just in interview, but when you start working, it really helps. Okay, over to you.
Thank you. So the next question is, I'm not just a virtual machine, but I allow lightweight containerization of application, enabling consistency across different environments. I create isolated environments, but share the host OS kernel. What tool am I? So answers everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
So we
this
are
is
having a lot of answers.
yeah, this is gonna be like little confusing because
Hmm.
uh you know they're like two different tools which are very useful over here. Uh
Yes,
and we're not talking about virtual machines for sure. So but we are talking about something like an isolated environment, and people must be very well aware of who are participating from from DevOps. They must be knowing it very well.
definitely.
So the right answer is Docker. So the people who have answered this question, guys, you guys are absolutely right. Always remember the difference between Docker and Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a container orchestration which manages hundreds of containers. But where does the container starts from? Like, how do you create that one container? That's through Docker. Okay. So when we talk about multiple Dockers, multiple containers, an orchestration of containers, then that's Kubernetes. But if we are talking about just one, we're talking about and that then that's Docker, which gives Docker is responsible to give that isolated environment. Okay. I hope it makes sense, everyone. Okay.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. I am a container orchestration platform that automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized application. I ensure containers run reliably across a cluster of machines, but I'm not a simple tool. What am I? So we're having certain answers. I
Okay.
request everyone to please take a part in this. Thank you.
Exactly. As we were talking about this container orchestration, deployment, scaling, management, everything falls under. Right. It's okay. So it's Kubernetes. I think the content team has made it this the small mistake over here, Zoe. I think we need to report.
Yes,
I
yes.
saw that, but the right answer is Kubernetes, everyone. It's just a small mistake what content team has done, but it is Kubernetes. The right answer is Kubernetes. Okay, the next one.
Okay, moving on to the next question. I help you turn data into insightful visuals and reports. You can connect me to various data sources and share the findings with your team. I make decision making easier, but I'm not a spreadsheet. What tool am I?
Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's Power BI for sure.
Yes,
Microsoft Power BI. I'm sure that people are aware like what Power BI is. It's actually one of the best tool. But yes, the answer can be Tableau as well. The major thing is BI, which is business intelligence, that can be achieved with Power BI and as well as Tableau. Okay. So people who have answered Tableau, even you are right. And people who have answered Power BI, you guys are also right. But I tell you one more thing, which is interesting. Uh, the BI, business intelligence, is not just limited to Tableau and Power BI. You can find hundreds of tools available online which can actually do data reporting. Okay. Even SQL has its own reporting tool, which is SSRS. How many of you have heard about SSRS? Do we have anyone in the house who knows a tool SSRS? You guys can explore that tool. That's a traditional tool for data reporting, and organizations are still using it. Okay. Okay. So I know like some of you have recently joined. That's why I think team has added this slide over here. So Zoe, can I just introduce myself with everyone, like who has joined us
Yes,
recently?
100%. Yes. Please go ahead, Mr. Naman. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. So, thank you everyone for joining this session. My name is Naman. I know that some of you must be knowing me like since a long time, but some of you are knowing me very first time who have recently joined Thinkcloudly, and you have recently joined our platform. So I'm going to be your mentor. I'm going to be connected with most of you. At any point of time, if you have any problem, you can certainly raise the point to me. Whether you are having some problem with your program, with your course, with your instructor, with anything you want to talk about, even some of the market things you want to talk about, you can definitely drop your details to me and I can certainly get onto the call. Just to give you about my idea about myself, like who am I? My name is Naman, Naman Jain, and I have 13 plus years of experience. I'm working as a tech mentor at Thinkcloudly. If I talk about my experience, I started my career with Microsoft, uh, followed by Deloitte, IBM. I could able to work with MTN Nigeria, and my own expertise is cloud, DevOps, cybersecurity, project management, and AI, artificial intelligence. So if you have any concern at any point of time related to anything, you can always redirect your concern through me. Uh, I probably I cannot answer your question sometimes because I may not know everything, but I am backed by almost 140 experts at Think Loudly. So I can definitely redirect your query to one of my expert who can answer your query. Okay. So make sure that you route everything through me so that at any point of time we can stay connected and we guys can always uh, talk about it. So if you can just if you have any query at any point of time, feel free to redirect to me. Okay. So over to you, uh,
Definitely. So, if you could just move on to which IT certification do you aspire to get? So, in certification, we would be sharing certain study material and resources. So, you could just share the interest that, which kind of certification you would be interested in. And, there will be a form available in the chat box. The links have been shared. So, please click on those links, share your interest and which study material do you require, and we'll be doing the needful for each and every one of you.
Okay. So guys, what happens like we work on a lot of material at Think Cloudly. So if in case you want to express your interest like in any one of the certification or your planning, you guys can fill the form for us. We guys can touch base with you. If we have any free vouchers available, let's say for Azure, for GCP, or we have any special vouchers available, we can certainly make that available or contact you or provide you the information. So you can just fill the form. If you fill the form, we will know that what exactly you need or you're preparing for, so that we can provide you necessary documents, resources, material what we prepare, and the available exam vouchers if we get in future. Generally vouchers are not available always, but if in case any voucher is available, you can always let us know so we can make that voucher available for you. Okay. So just fill the form and let us know your interest. We can certainly work on it. Okay. And we'll get back to you. Amazing. So Zoe, if you can just help quickly with the journey.
Yes,
This is the journey
definitely.
what has to be followed by everyone who is learning with Think Loudly as of today. So make sure that you take a note of it and let us know. Okay.
Yes. So, when you come in the IT sector, a series of courses has to be passed for you to acquire the IT job that you want. And for that, in Think Loudly, we have assigned a 6-step program that helps you gain the confidence and the eligibility to get the IT job that you've been acquiring for. So the sixth step starts with the first one, which is the step one of live training. So in live training, what we do is we give you 8 weeks of consistent training under the program that you have chosen. And in these 8 weeks, we'll be putting you in a classroom that does not have more than 3 students for you. So it's a very interactive, very one-to-one basis kind of a classroom with your instructor. And once we finish the first step, we move on to the second one, which is your projects and case studies. So, as you all must be knowing, IT industries pay a lot of attention to what kind of projects and case studies have you done in your preparation time. So, the step two of life projects and case studies plays a very important role because most of the companies consider them as one of your experiences as well. And once you finish the case studies and projects, we move on to the third step, which is your certification assistance. And under certification, we give you 100% guarantee that you will be passing the certification in a single attempt. That's the guarantee of Thinkcloudly and nowhere else. And once we finish that, we move on to step four, which is your resume and LinkedIn grooming. And under resume and LinkedIn grooming, what we do is we recreate your and revamp your resume so that the 7 seconds that is used by every recruiter over your resume is very boastful and very powerful for your resume to reflect. And once we finish that, we move on to the step five, which is your profile marketing. So under Think Loudly, we have 300 plus organization connections, and we circulate your resume in these 300 plus organizations. It is really helpful for you to get the IT job that you've been acquiring for. And after we finish that, we move on to the last and the final step in your journey, which is your interview preparation. And under interview preparation, we provide you mock interviews and we help you guide and give you the confidence to stand in front of the recruiters so that when you speak about yourself, you're really, really great in it. That's the whole step when it comes to step one to step six.
Okay. So guys, why Zoe actually explained this, it is not to sell something to you. The reason why we explained you this, that everyone who is basically in this journey of getting into IT, just create this checklist that whether you have attended the training or not, whether you have attended the projects or not, whether you have gotten the right certifications or not, whether you got the right resume and LinkedIn or not. So you need to basically, check mark all these things before you can start working in IT. Generally, what people do, they skip the project part, they skip the certification part, and they still want to be in IT. And that's where the problem starts. So make sure that you guys are keeping this list with you, check marking everything, and see how can you basically enable that one step which is actually missing in your journey. And that's how every student's journey is driven at Think Loudly, and it has made possible to almost all our students who have started working in IT. Does that make sense, everyone? Are we going to create a checklist of the success path? What Think Loudly draws for every student? Are you sure that you're going to be doing that? I need the maximum yeses from everyone because that's really shows that you guys are listening to me. Okay, amazing. Sure. So, uh, okay. So before we dive into the tips, let me ask you a question. Okay. Uh, so we talk about, okay, Zoe, let me take over from here. Let me just work on and take over the session now.
Sure,
Okay.
definitely. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, have you ever faced a situation where you felt that you are unprepared for an IT interview? Do we have people over here who attended an interview in the past, okay, and you felt a situation that you are unprepared, right? And or maybe you struggled to answer that technical question or couldn't effectively communicate your skills. Sometimes what happens, right? We we have that knowledge, but we are unable to transfer that knowledge into an answer. So that is something what is actually missing. So effectively communicating your skill is also important. Knowing the answer is also important. Okay. So make sure that uh when you are able to learn something, okay, the answer over here, what I want to tell you or what tip I want to give over here for everyone, that sometimes we learn a concept and that is new for us. make sure that you guys are able to create a story around it. Okay. Let's say that if you are learning a tool called Jenkins under DevOps, so create a story that, Jenkins is connected to, let's say, EC2 instance, where you are deploying the code through Jenkins pipeline and it's get deployed on EC2 instance, right? So whenever you learn a concept, it should drive a story. And when you start creating the story around it, right, that's when you understand that concepts in depth. Okay. For example, you are learning Power BI. Some people think that creating charts in Power BI is the only thing what you have to do. But that's not right. You have to create the chart with meaningful data, right? Your chart needs to speak a story, right? Which is known as use case. So always remember that in your learning process, because right now, every one of you who are attending the program with us with Think Loudly, or you have attended the program in the past with Think Loudly, ask yourself if you have created the story around every concept or not. And that's when you understand that concept in detail. You can always ask your instructor, hey, I understand how Jenkins works, but can you tell me that in real life, how Jenkins connect with other tools? In real life, can you give me one example which I can talk to my interviewer when I get into interviews? Does that make sense, everyone? Do you think that a story around a topic or a concept is very important for interviews? How many of you agree with me? Only one person? What about others? So promise yourself that whether when you are getting into the interview next time, or sorry, whether when you are getting into into class next time, do I understand it or not? Okay. Sometimes we just go through the session, we create the notes, and at the end, we don't spend that 5 minutes to create the story out of your learning. Okay. So whosoever is doing that in a story form, that's when you will remember always. And that's when we say that it's a effective communication of your skills. Okay. So people who are doing it, wonderful. It's going to be very helpful. But people who are not doing it, promise yourself that every class will be meaningful if you are able to create story out of it. So guys, are you sure that you're gonna be doing it? Can I just have some yeses in the chat box? Yes, absolutely. It's very important. Okay. So right now, don't worry. I mean, you're not alone. Let's explore some best 5 interview tips that will help you to confidently tackle any IT interview and turn your weaknesses into strength. So, do we have anyone over here, you know, who who has that one fear of that interview? Sometimes we think I'm not fully ready for the interview. You know, let's say your interview is tomorrow, and you are thinking, I'm not ready. I think I need to prepare more. How many of you think that's the problem with us? Because it happened with me, it really happened with me. When I used to attend the interviews, I always had that one fear. It's like an exam fear, right? Remember, guys, our childhood time, when we used to have the exam next day, and we always used to feel unprepared, even when we even when we burn our midnight oil. We are working very hard throughout our night. Even after that, we feel that I'm not ready for tomorrow. How many of you think that's happening with you? And do we have anyone here? I think I saw some yeses, some me's, right? You always feel unprepared. I tell you one thing, guys, whether you feel that unpreparedness in yourself or stress, that what is going to happen tomorrow, uh, just think about that. I have to get into it. Okay. Whether it goes perfect or whether it goes a very bad, it's a bad experience, it doesn't matter. First, you have to be very open about the interview. Consider that as an opportunity. You won't believe, even myself, and I have seen some students, whenever they felt that they are unprepared, they actually outperformed. They really performed well in the interview. Okay. So you have to gain that confidence that whatever happens, whether they will insult me, whether I will stay quiet in front of them, whether I don't know anything, but I'll still be confident. I'll go in the interview to learn. Okay. So always remember, for everyone over here, interviews is not to get a job. For us, people who are trying to get a job, interview is all about to learn. Okay, what are you going to learn? You're going there to collect some questions. Okay, you're going there to gain some interview skills, because if you attend 5 interviews, I'm sure you will be more confident. If you attend 5 interviews, you are going to collect those questions which are frequently asked questions in your career, right? Let's say if you attend 10 interviews, okay, and in 10 interviews you will certainly find the common questions. Okay, so we have to consider interview an opportunity, not that it is like your exam. What will happen if I fail, right? So that thing you have to remove from yourself, and you have to consider interview as an opportunity to learn, collect questions, and gain the confidence for next time. Does that make sense, everyone? Just to give you one example, okay, one of our student, uh, he's connected with me. His name is Joshua. He is in New York. So one day he got a job, and he came back to me and said, Naman, I got a job. So we were talking, and I asked him, like, what was the reason that you got the job? I mean, there are so many students who are really struggling to get a job, but you landed a job. So what he said, he gave me a real tip. He said, because Naman, I attended almost 11 to 12 interviews in the past, I could able to note down all the questions what they were asking me. So when I went into my 12th interview round, 80% of questions were I was already prepared for them, you know. So it was quite easy for me. Can you imagine? He must have spent his 6 months of time to learn the concepts. But just because he went into those 10 to 12 interviews, passing that 12th interview was very easy because he was already aware of common questions. Does that make sense, everyone? So next time, whenever you have your interview, don't think that you're going for an interview to pass the interview. Next time, if you have the interview, make sure you're going to learn, considering the opportunity, collecting the questions, and gaining that confidence. Okay. So we are going to learn, collect questions, okay, and gain confidence for next time. So how many of you are going to consider interview an opportunity from next time instead of your exam? Exactly. So let's not be anxious. Let's make sure that we are considering interview an opportunity. And that's very important. I'm not just trying to share what happened. It is a real thing, you know. Many students have told me this, and that's where I'm able to bring it up. Okay. The first tip is for everyone over here is that whenever you are getting into the interview, right? Uh, your recruiter is going to give you a job description, because whenever you apply for a job, that's when the recruiter is going to come and approach you, right? So it means having a job description is something what you will always find. How many of you think that job description you will never be able to find? If you are able to apply for a job, do you think that you will always find the job description? I think that's quite common, right? Whenever you apply, whenever you get an interview call, it means there should be a job description. Now, this is something which is important for everyone. Okay. Let's consider that you are someone who is actually uh, planning for a cyber security track. Okay. You want to find a job in cyber security, right? Cyber security is a very big domain, right? It's very big domain. And your interview is after 3 days. I'm very sure that in next 3 days, you cannot learn everything about cybersecurity. You cannot go over all your notes. You cannot go over all the previous recordings, right? Because it's so big, you know. You can find hell lot of contents on on website, on Google, you know, on Thinkcloudly website, probably on ebooks, right? So what you have to do is you have to narrow it narrow your scope. Narrow your scope to job description. Okay. Do not just start reading anything. Okay. That's a one big mistake we do. I have seen students, uh, they have the interview on SOC analyst and they start reading about networking. All right. So that's not right. So look at the job description. Okay. Look at the job description. When you look at the job description, you will narrow down your scope. Okay. Look at the pointers available. Okay. Look at the pointers. Let's say you find one pointer which you're not aware of. There are many times it happens that when we look at the job description, there is one keyword we are not aware of. Can it happen or not, everyone? Let's say if you have a big job description of 10 pointers, but there are like a couple of pointers you're not aware of, right? The best thing is that at least read about it. Okay. Do not let it go. Just read about it. It's very important that you let 1 second. Yeah. So you read about those pointers. That's very important. Sometimes it is not important that you know everything about it. Okay. You just need to read about it. And also try to link it with something what you know. Okay. For example, there is a tool called Splunk. Okay. You're not aware of Splunk, but you know Wazoo. Okay. And Wazoo and Splunk are the competitor. Your job description demands for Splunk, but you know Wazoo, right? So you can always relate it with that because these are two competitor tools. So when you basically read about Splunk and you find that I don't know Splunk, but I know something like Splunk, which is Wazoo. So you can always create that relation between what you know and what is mentioned in the job description. Okay. Now, how will this help? Next time when you walk in the interview and when they ask you something about Splunk, you can always relate with Wazoo and can at least talk about it. Okay. Sometimes going blank in the interview can also be challenging. Okay. Make sure that you are actually just talking about a little bit about introduction or tell them a little bit what you know about it. If you tell them, they will gain a confidence that this person knows little, but he or she has has an energy to learn something. Does that make sense, everyone? Am I making sense over here? If you are not understanding me or if you don't agree with me, please let me know. But this is something what I really want to make sure you guys follow, because I have seen people following this and they have secured the job. Okay. So the first step for us is narrow your scope of preparation to job description. Okay. The very first thing for all of you over here is narrow your scope to job description. Okay. Now your interview preparation has to be narrowed down to job description. And then what is the second point? Second point is read about everything. Okay. Whatever is written in your job description, read about everything. Whether you attend an interview preparation session with Thinkcloudly, at that point of time also ask your instructor that this is what I'm not understanding. This is what I don't understand. Can you give me a little introduction about it? Or watch a YouTube video, quickly. Just watch a YouTube video to understand it. And then relate your unaware topics with something what you're aware of. Okay. So if you're able to relate it, you can always talk about it. Does that make sense, everyone? Will you be able to narrow down your scope to job description and cover all the pointers 100%? So before you go in next interview, don't worry about it too much. Just read the job description, start reading online, read the job description, start reading online. Simple as that. Okay. And if some of the pointers in your job description talks something you already know, okay, then create stories around those pointers. Okay. So let me give you one example. I was actually hiring one of the web developer at Thinkcloudly. We were actually creating our platform for learning platform. So we were hiring someone, uh, for web development with web development skills. So when I was hiring, it was on Angular. So that person actually, like the person who I was interviewing, he told me that Naman, I know these skills what are listed, and then he gave me proper examples about it, right? So that gave me a confidence that this person who is talking to me right now, he's making sense and he knows what what he's going to do, right? So the pointers what you find in the job description, right? Create the stories about it, because you have to gain that confidence that whatever you are requesting, I already know that. I already know how to deal with that problem. Okay. So let's say if someone is talking about, uh, like how to create, like creating the pipe CI/CD pipeline. Okay. So create a story around it. So when you walk in the interview, in your introduction, add that in my last 3 years, I created multiple CI/CD pipeline for various projects where I utilized the tools like Jenkins or CI Circle or something like that, right? So whatever pointers you see, make sure you have enough stories around it. That stories can be added to your introduction. Okay. So these are the 3 points. These are the 3 points what you have to always remember for job description. Uh, First point is narrow your scope to job description. You don't have to just learn everything before your interview. Second, try to read about every point mentioned in the job description and relate with something what you already know. And third, every pointer of responsibility should have a story. What do you think, guys? Are you going to follow this? Do you think this is helpful? I'm not sure how many of you agree with me right now, but I need like your responses here. So please make a note of it, because trust me, you will have different ways of doing it. But if you know uh, follow this right, I have seen students succeeding, okay, and they still follow it, because if you get your first job, your journey will never stop for interviews. Interviews are for life, right? And when interviews are for life, this should become your strategy to prepare for the interviews. Okay. So can anyone tell me like what are the 3 pointers you will remember? Narrow your scope to job description, read about every pointer and relate it to existing knowledge, and third, create stories around every pointer mentioned in job description. Is that okay, everyone? Very good. Very good, Michael. Okay. So 93% of recruiters prioritize candidates who address the job description directly. See, this is something what is coming from the fact that, you know, people like, having knowing 10 different tools is not important. In my opinion, for any interviewer or for any organization, what matters is whether you know something what they need, right? Let's say if I'm hiring a web developer and he knows AI or he knows multiple things, which is not for me, you know, which is not useful for me, I will neglect it. So what matters to me is whether that candidate who is applying for the position is addressing all my job description pointers or not. Okay. So maximize your preparation based on the job description. That's very important. Okay. Now, learn from your interview experiences and get inspired by others. Okay. Do you know that how do you find interview experiences online, or do you want me to show you that how can you find interview experiences online? Do we have anyone who has already seen it earlier in the past, or do you want me to show you? Let me just check. Okay, let me show you guys. This is important. I have already showed that in the past, but I can show it again if you want. Just a moment. I'm gonna reshare my screen. Okay. Because learning from others' experience is very important. Interview experience is something what I always find important. Okay. And sometimes if you're not even going for that job role, you know, looking at it, sometimes it's also helpful, right? So let's say if I am going for the interview in Microsoft, okay. So let's say Microsoft DevOps interview questions and Glassdoor. Okay. So it's going to pop up the link over here. When it pops up the link, now over here, basically there are candidates who have attended the interview with Microsoft on a DevOps engineer role. They will tell you a little bit about the process. Okay. There will be some of the interview experiences which will not be good, but that's okay. You just have to take out the important information. Let's say someone is basically talking about that interview question, that how is DevOps different from agile methodology. Now this question becomes very important for you because this was asked by Microsoft from the candidate, right? You can still consider this question. uh, like before reading this, you never knew that this question was asked in the company, right? So you can collect such questions. uh like over here you can just go down and see, like you can basically read more about it. It will tell you all the interview experiences, right? And other things, like you can see over here, you have 16,000 interviews experiences what are mentioned. But if you read it properly, right, with the experiences, you will find out what were the recently asked questions, what are the commonly asked questions, right? Not just in Microsoft. Let's say you are going for some other organization, let's say Google. Okay. So let's find out like how's the Google DevOps interview questions or process. It's very irritating sometimes though. So this is how you have to search it. I mean, just try yourself. So you can mention the company name, then the role you are applying for, interview questions, and Glassdoor. So those questions are posted by the students who have applied to that organization for the same role in the past. Does that make sense, everyone? Will you be seriously exploring this option? Right? So this is something I'm unable to show you right now. It's quite irritating because it's popping up in the middle, like it is asking me to log in and everything. But you can explore this. Can anyone tell me what is that prompt you're going to write on Google? Can anyone quickly write the prompt? Let me just check how many of you write it correctly. What are you going to write on Google? The company name, job title, interview question, and please don't forget the word glass door. Okay. Don't forget this. Mentioning glass door is important. Okay. So always remember this prompt. If you miss Glassdoor, it will give you hundreds of different websites. Okay. If you miss interview questions, it will not give you the interview question even on Glassdoor, right? Even if you miss Splunk or like the skill, then it will give you a random one. Okay. So make sure you mention the company role, interview question, and Glassdoor. Okay, this is a prompt what everyone has to use, and learning from experiences is quite important. Okay, one more, and company can be anything. Okay, over here where you are applying, let's say you are applying for JP Morgan. Okay, so you can mention that and it will basically pop up all the questions under like JP Morgan. So you can see over here SRE DevOps engineer role, and it will list down all the questions for that company which were asked. And sometimes for preparation, you can also change these question the company names yourself. Like sometimes you can put JP Morgan, Bank of America, TD Bank, or Wipro Technologies, like whatever company name, you can change it, and you can list down the questions while you are practicing. Not necessarily you're applying for that job, but still for practice you can keep changing the company name, and you can keep looking at the interview question and interview experiences. So how many of you are going to do this? Real quick. I need the answers real quick. How many of you are going to explore this option? Okay, let me ask you this. How many of you think this is really a helpful one? Okay, so I think someone has already started doing it. Please come back to this session. Okay. Yeah. Guys, please let me know. I'll try my best to bring such such tips and tricks even in the next sessions for all of you. So let me know which one you like as a tip, which one you don't like it, uh, which you already know. I mean, that is also one thing what I would be happy to know. But yes, there are few other things. Even if you visit our YouTube channel, we have a testimonial section over there. Go and explore our testimonial section. Francesca, Moses, these people have actually shared their own journey with all of us. We invite them in. Usually, we invite them in webinars, boot camps, and they share their own journey. So make sure you are exploring them. I mean, you're exploring those videos, which are put it over there on the YouTube channel. Okay. Okay. Candidates who analyze past experiences are 80% more likely to succeed. How good this statement is. Uh, that if you analyze past experiences, the major problem right now we see, you know, uh, right now the major problem we see is that we don't have too many friends who can suggest us, or who can guide us. How many of you think you don't have the friends who can really guide you every time? How many of you think that? Is everyone having a friend, or do you think you don't have a friend who is already in IT or who can really guide you, right? Exactly. Like a lot of people, they don't have friends, they don't have anybody in IT, but you always want to be. That's why uh internet has a lot of interview experiences things, right? So make sure that you are experiencing those or going through those experiences, because that will give you a story around the topic. It will give you what are the frequently asked questions, okay, and it will tell you that how can you prepare. So that is why for people who do not have too many friends in IT who can guide you, make sure you are experiencing past experiences, because that is going to 80%, you have a 80% more chances to succeed, and we need the chances. Okay. Explore strategies to overcome rejections. Okay. So how many of you is tired of getting rejections? Do we have people over here who is tired of getting rejections from the interviewers or on the job applications? Okay. Yes. uh so one thing which is really important for everyone over here to be noted. See, in IT, right? In IT, rejections are common. Rejections are too common. Uh, I- whenever I talk to someone who has landed the job recently, I always ask them uh, that whether you have basically like how many interviews you went through. You know what they say? They say, I went through 15 interviews. I went through 20 interviews. And then I asked them that how many jobs did you apply to get those 20 interviews? And they say too many, which means like they have applied over 2000 job applications and they could only get 20 interviews. So what is the percentage ratio of acceptance over here? Can you imagine? What is the percentage ratio of acceptance? It's just 1%, right? That is why I say that rejections are too common. If you are receiving rejections on your applications, then certainly you can improvise it, but there is only 1% chance that you will get that interview. Okay. So anytime if you get too many rejections, you should not feel that I'm not getting a job, I'm not getting the interviews, I'm just getting too many rejections, and you get upset about it. Don't get upset about it. It's just that you have to improvise your resume. Okay. So one thing is that you have to improvise your resume a bit. Okay. Second, you have to learn more skills. That's very important. You have to learn more skills. Okay. There's some problem probably with your resume, or there's a problem with your skills. Like you might not be adding some skills which are important for the industry. Okay. Sometimes, we know cybersecurity, but we don't know Linux. Sometimes we know cybersecurity, but we don't know networking. So try to add those skills which are, uh, which are, which are relatable skills. Okay. Because I always call this thing that gaining multi skills is important for everyone over here. Okay. And, third, put more applications, put more and more applications. Did I tell you last time that how can you apply for jobs? Can I tell you how can you apply job on Google, or do you already know it? Do you want to see that which is the best way to apply a job on Google? Because I did that in the last session. Do you want me to show you again? Okay. I told this in the last session, but for the people who may not have attended or who might have forgotten, let me tell you that how do you basically apply? Okay, or what is the best way of applying for it? Okay, so now let me show you real quick. Please, I think most of us we make a mistake that we keep ourselves, bound to just LinkedIn. We just apply jobs on LinkedIn, right, everyone? But I think that's something which is overcrowded right now. So let's not consider LinkedIn only our platform. Let's do something which is, which is something different. So start applying jobs directly on Google. So go to google.com, apply for SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst, admin, whatever role you want to. And over here, type your type your city name, whether you are in Toronto or or your province name or your state name. Okay, and it will basically pop up all the jobs over here. So Google has its own section of jobs over here. Click on 43 more jobs. It will list down all the jobs over here. And now there are some very important filters. Okay. The first one, which I like a lot, is last 3 days. Okay. Sometimes we are applying for the positions which are too old. Let's say positions which were posted a month ago. Do you really think that a position which was posted a month ago is still useful for us? How many of you think that a position which was posted a month ago is still useful? No, right? Not at all. It is not useful at all, right? So we always have to target the last 3 days, or you can say last week. That's all, and it will list down multiple jobs for you. Start applying for these roles. Okay. Always remember. Okay, let me ask this question. Should I click on this remote or not? What do you think? Should I click on remote or not? Okay. Don't if even if you want the remote job, please don't click on remote. Because sometimes, because when we are trying for remote roles, right, we click on remote, what will happen? These positions will decrease. The number of positions will decrease. It means number of opportunities will decrease, right? So we have to apply in a broad market. We cannot just filter down. Let's say if I just put on this filter of salary and I want like $100,000 to $200,000. Let's not do that. Let's be open. Let's keep the very broad market. Does that make sense, everyone? So how many of you are going to use these filters? And please consider this uh, Google to be your platform, because it let you apply directly on the company website, and that's where your resume reaches out to recruiters directly. No third party in the middle. Are you getting my point? So that's very important. So whosoever is using it, that's very good. But whosoever doesn't know about it, please start using it. Okay. Okay. Great. I know I'm just taking a lot of time. We are already over above time. Are you guys good? Can I continue, or should I just move on to the next section? Let me know if you really want to just move on to the next section. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So learn okay, 1 second. Learn from every rejection, that's for sure. Analyze the patterns, improvise your resume. and upskill continuously. That's very important. I always request everyone that you need to basically gain multiple skills. Okay. Imagine someone who is working in IT. That person will certainly have multiple skills, because just by having one skill, sometimes you may not be qualifying for a role, right? So ask your instructor, or ask me, or ask any one of our team member at Thinkcloudly, that what is that exactly one thing I should do next. Okay. Even if you are in a job market, your upgrading your skills should not be should not be discontinued. It has to be continued, whether you learn your own, whether you learn under the instructor, whether you learn through books. But make sure books is a very slow way of learning right now. So I'm sure that people over here are not considering books at all. I think grasping knowledge through videos, through live sessions, is more important, is more quick, is a quicker solution, whereas learning from book. So avoid using books while you are learning or upgrading your skills. Okay. Study shows that the 60% of candidates who face rejection in interviews improve their performance significantly by seeking feedback and upskilling through targeted courses or mock interviews. So attend mock interviews, learn the targeted courses, which are relatable skills, and that will improvise your chances of finding the opportunity. Okay. Be honest about your knowledge. That is something what we always tell our students, that sometimes interviewer is asking you something and you don't know anything about it. Even you have not heard about anything about it. So what should we do in that case? Let's say if I talk about something and you don't know, what should we do? Should I still answer to the interviewer, or what should I do? Can anyone tell me the right response? If interviewer is asking me something what I don't know, what should be my response? Let's see how many of you answers this correctly. Okay, exactly. Okay. Yes, you guys are absolutely right. Uh, so you can always don't try to think that interviewer doesn't know that. You know, if he is asking you something, the first thing is that if he is asking you something, it means that he knows about it, right? Let's say if interviewer is asking you a question, does it does it mean or not that he knows about it? Yes, of course he knows about it, because if he knows, that's why he's asking you. So that is something what you need to know. Second thing is, if you don't know about it, okay, so tell them very clearly that I did not get a chance to work on it. Okay, I did not get a chance to work on it. As simple as that. You know, like if I am working on a project, it doesn't mean that I would work on everything. Am I right, everyone? So always tell them, always respond them very positively that I did not get a chance to work on it. But if I get a chance, I will learn about it. A very assertive, assertive way of responding them. Because I have seen whenever I ask them like I take a lot of interviews, honestly. I don't know how many of you believe this or not, but I take a lot of interviews. Whenever I take an interview and I know something, because I'm asking something because I know that, and that person is trying to take me on a ferry wheel. He's trying to take me, okay, this is what, this is it, this is it, this is it, making stories around it. You know, as an interviewer, I may feel little insult, right? Because I'm trying to ask you something, I'm trying to gauge your knowledge, and you are trying to make me fool, right? That's how some, not just me, probably some interviews, they may feel that, right? And that's really bad. So the way you can answer this is, I did not get a chance to work on it, but if I get an opportunity, I will learn about it. And I will learn about it, and that's how you can end this, end it. How many of you agree that this is the best way to answer it? And will you follow this? So please, next time, don't make a mistake. Be honest about your knowledge. If you know that, tell them. Okay, there's one more scenario. Sometimes you probably have heard about it, right? Sometimes you have heard about it, but you don't know about it. Does it happen or not? Right? Let's say you just have heard about the technology, but you don't know in real. How will we answer this? Right? So what you can do is, the best way to answer this is ask your interviewer, oh, is it related to that? You know, ask your interviewer, is it related to that? Right? And if you see his gesture that he is trying to answer it positively, yes or no, if he says no, then tell them, oh, I don't know about it. Okay. But if he say yes, then you can continue your answer. Okay. So you have to judge his reaction over whenever you ask, is it related to that? Are you able to understand, everyone, what I'm trying to say here? Sometimes when you have heard about something, but you don't know actually that you don't know everything about it, in that case, ask your recruiter, ask your interviewer back, is it related to that? And if you get a positive response, right, then you can basically go on with your answer, or else just step back and say, I don't know. Is it okay, everyone? Can we follow this? Let's see. I want everyone to respond. I see almost 150 people connected over here right now. I want everyone to respond, because please, it's important. This is something what I'm trying to tell you from my own experience, from the students' experience. I think I'm telling you something which will help you. Okay, and I need responses from everyone. If I'm making this as efforts, I really need it again. One more time, I'm repeating. If you have heard about the question, if you have heard about the technology, but you're not sure about it, right? You can start saying, is it related to something what you know already? Okay. And if you receive a positive response or a gesture or a reaction, then continue with your answer. Okay. But if you don't receive the positive, or he say, nah, no. If he says that, then just say that I don't know. Okay. That's the best safe place to be in, instead of just, disrespecting him by answering anything. So don't do that. Okay. So 85% of interviewers prefer candidates who are honest about their skills and abilities, as it builds trust and authenticity. Admitting a gap in knowledge but showing a willingness to learn can make you stand out positively. I think this is the best statement what is written over here, that admitting a gap in knowledge but showing a willingness to learn can make you stand out positively. Always remember this. Okay. So make sure that you are saying that. Okay. One more thing, that add Scrum knowledge. I'm not sure how many of you know about it, whether you are going for cybersecurity roles, DevOps role, project management role. Make sure that you add the Scrum knowledge. Nowadays, Scrum has become a bread and butter of IT. Okay. Every project runs through Scrum methodology. So everyone who is here, you are attending any program, make sure that you add Scrum Master, because you should be well aware of that particular particular scenario where you're working. Okay. I'll give you one example I gave even in the last time. I tell you what happened with me. Do you want to hear me out very quickly? Uh, this is the last step. That's why I can just take like 2 more minutes over here. Okay. Do you want to listen to me? Like what happened with me in real? Uh, I don't know how can okay, let me tell you. So I was going for an interview with Honeywell Automation. How many of you heard about this organization called Honeywell Automation? Unfortunately, since the time I I went for that interview. Unfortunately, in my past years, I couldn't get exposure on Scrum Master or project methodology. I did not get a chance to work on it. So one of the question they asked me was that how long your sprint runs. Okay, how long your sprint runs. How long your sprint runs. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you actually know this. You know, and sprint means the time window. Let's say, like when you basically collect the requirement and deliver to the customer, how long does it run? And the biggest mistake I did, I said 6 months to 1 year. So I'm sure that people who know about Scrum Master, you would think that how big mistake I did at that point of time. And it was a crazy answer. The answer was 2 to 3 weeks. And I said 6 months to 1 year. Can you imagine? Just for sake of answering, I made a mistake. In waterfall model, there is no sprint at all. Sprint is a terminology of a Scrum Master. And they just asked me about it. Happened like almost 7 or 8 years ago, probably from now. And I did not get a chance to work on Scrum Master. And I just, I am hoping that I'm lucky that they didn't kick me out of that room. But it was a funny incident when I came to know about it, that oh my goodness, I made a big mistake, right? So then I came to know and I studied about it. So I remember that time, still I remember that. But you guys can imagine, people who are aware of this Scrum Master sprint thing, that if someone is responding with 6 months or 1 year, is it a right answer? No, not at all, right? So 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks probably last, the sprint can go. So that actually happened with me. That's why 78% of IT recruiters value agile and Scrum skills. So if anyone who doesn't know Scrum or agile, you can contact us. We can start building your skills. You can read it yourself. But make sure you build your Scrum skills. That's very important. And the interview was not on Scrum Master. The interview was on cloud and DevOps. But he asked me the question on Scrum Master and I failed miserably. Okay. Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session till here. Okay. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. This is my contact number 7257109949. Make sure that you guys are noting this number and contacting me for anything goes wrong at Thinkcloudly, contact me. Let us look at it together. Let's solve it together. Probably we will be able to give you better experience at Thinkcloudly. Okay. Just tell me like if you enjoyed this session, or you found the session insightful and helpful, so that I can certainly come up with such sessions even in future. You guys can basically keep attending and it will be really helpful. So you guys can just let me know your feedback. It will be really helpful. If Yeah. Over to you, Zoe. I'm sorry, Zoe, I took a little more time today.
No worries. It was really interactive session. I myself learned a lot today. So it was really nice session. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. So you can continue.
Okay, thank you so much. So, as you all know, we have a referral policy at Think Loudly, where you get $100 as a cashback for every successful reference. And you can definitely refer us to your family and friend members.
Yeah. So guys, this is a request from every one of you here. As Thinkcloudly is trying to build, build an ecosystem for people who aspire to be in IT. This is a request. The way how can you support Thinkcloudly is not just by buying the program with Thinkcloudly, but also letting people know about us. Okay. So it's a request from every one of you that if you find anyone, who is really interested, or if you talk about Think Loudly with others, then Think Loudly as a platform will grow. We will find more resources. And if we find more resources, we can enable those more resources to all of you. So as you already part of the Think Loudly family, let me ask this question from everyone. How many of you is a part of Think Loudly family already? I think everyone over here is part of Think Loudly, but how many of you think you're already part of Think Loudly's platform or Think Loudly's family? yes, you guys are really part of this family already. And we really respect your presence, right? So make sure that you guys talk to your friends, talk to your brother, sister, and spread the word about Think Loudly. We are trying our prices to be very affordable, and at the same time, keeping 3 people or 4 people in a group, you can imagine the intention what we have to offer these programs. And in return, just have a small token for you guys that is like $100. So if your friend registers because you have helped us to grow our network, then you definitely deserve to get this $100 as a token. So make sure that you guys are referring us to your more and more friends. That'll be really helpful to grow this platform. Thank you. Over to you. Zoe?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you just scan this particular QR code, you will be taken to the quiz section. And not just the QR code, you will be having the link present in the chat box. So you can click on the link or scan the QR code to just visit the quiz section. The quiz section has 5 questions in total. And let me just tell you the whole procedure and the rules. So you'll be having 20 seconds for each questions as an answer, and you cannot change your answer. Once you've marked the answer, it stands the same. And the first winner gets a voucher from the team of Think Loudly. So I request each and every one of you to please go ahead and visit the link or scan the QR section to go to the quiz section. We've completed the quiz in the quiz section. I hope everyone enjoyed our quiz section. We have a winner, and Risa Susan is the winner of this quiz. So congratulations, Risa Susan, for winning our quiz section, and you'll be getting a voucher of a 50% reduction from the team of Think Loudly.
Yeah, congratulations, Risa. Uh, congratulations. Great.
So today, you can also you'll be getting a participation certificate from our team members. For that, you just need to fill out a Google form. The details of participation which should be entered by you, and the link to it will be shared over the chat box. So please look into the link that will be shared in the chat box by the team of Think Loudly. Click on that link, and please fill out your Google form, and just mention each and every details about your name, and we'll be sharing the participation certificate to you.
Certificate of participation is seriously important for everyone, because if you share this certificate of participation, that shows your activeness on social media platforms like LinkedIn. So you can always tag Think Loudly, or you can tag me, or you can tag any one of our like team member. It will really help you to gain that presence and that visibility from the recruiter. So make sure that you collect your certificate of participation by filling up the form. We have sent the link in the chat, so please make sure you fill the form, and also post your certificate on social media platform. That will certainly help all of you.
Yes. Also, we have a YouTube channel, each and every one of you. The detail is given as youtube.com/thinkcloudly. So I request each and every one of you to visit our YouTube channel, get us subscribed so that, whenever we have a new video and that is uploaded for the webinar, you get the notification. Also, the today's video about the webinar will be uploaded in the YouTube section. So you just have to wait 24 to 48 hours. And within that time frame, the team would upload the today's webinar. And if you have any questions, you can definitely revert back to us, our team, and Mr. Naman as well.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. See you next time, and stay connected. Thank you, Zoe, and thank you, the complete backend team from Think Loudly. It was really a nice session and a very smooth session. Thank you, backend admin team as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Naman, and thank you to the team of Think Loudly, and thank you to every student that had joined today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Switch from non-IT to IT today. Explore www.thinkcloudly.com.